Kevin Haig.
Mr Speaker, there's a particular spot on Queen Street in Auckland, or at least there used to be, where a bunch of smiling young people with clipboards accost those who are going past and invite them to participate in a personality test. And I've noticed, I watched for a while, and the people they approach are invariably those who are alone, who look perhaps a little vulnerable, who perhaps are particularly Māori and Pacific Island people. And strangely enough, those who take the personality test invariably find that the solution to the problems with their personality lies somehow in the Church of Scientology. More recently, sir, viewers of Māori television will have seen advertisements for a drug-free world. People in school pupils, some 230,000 of them, have received leaflets from drug-free ambassadors. There is a group of family members bereaved by people who have killed themselves, who have been befriended by a group called the Citizens Commission for Human Rights. Now, the drug-free world, the drug-free ambassadors, the Citizens Commission for Human Rights are all fronts for the Church of Scientology, as is Criminon, as is Narconon, as is Rehabilitate New Zealand, as is the World Literacy Crusade, and many others. Now, I'm not a person with a religious belief myself, but I don't object to churches providing social services, provided that the church connection is transparent and that the service is not a front for recruiting into the church. Now, it seems to me that the Church of Scientology fails on both those fronts. As many people will know, Scientology was invented by the science fiction author L. Ron Hubbard. Now, there's a lot of dispute about some of the basic facts, but at its heart is the quote from Mr. Hubbard at an authors' conference in 1948. Writing for a penny a word is ridiculous. If a man really wants to make $1 million, the best way would be to start his own religion. And Mr. Hubbard's religion has an evil intergalactic overlord named Xenu, who solved an overpopulation crisis by rounding up aliens, transporting them to Earth, and killing them in extinct volcanoes with hydrogen bombs. Now, the souls of those aliens then came to haunt human beings, and they're called thetans, and the way that the distorted thinking that results from being haunted in this way can be resolved is actually by an expensive process involving audit by a senior Scientologist. Now, in fact, the Church of Scientology came 4 years after the science of Dianetics, also invented by Mr. Hubbard, a science of mental health, which he described to his publisher as one with tremendous promotional and sales potential. So why is it a problem? It's a problem, sir, because in addition to the repugnance of deceiving, exploiting, and often brainwashing and fleecing the vulnerable and desperate, the Church of Scientology also has a very strong opposition to the use of medicines and psychiatry. Its drug-free programs are smokescreens for this anti-psychiatry agenda. And members of Parliament will have received this DVD, in fact, from the Church of Scientology in the guise of the Citizens Commission on Human Rights. Dead Wrong, it's called. How Psychiatric Drugs Can Kill Your Child. Now, sir, it is evil to try to persuade people with mental illness to avoid proper health professional services and the treatment that they need. What is especially concerning is that these programs are now increasingly being funded by taxpayers' money through the COGS and other community grant schemes. A number of these front organisations are registered with the Charities Commission, and there is increasing evidence that they are being funded. And, sir, I say to the Minister of Internal Affairs, please follow through with the investigation promised by the Department back in February. The New Zealand public is owed that.
Scott Simpson.
Mr Speaker,